Good afternoon. I'm Bill Koch from Tennessee, and I'm here speaking on behalf of many of Randy's colleagues in the American Inns of Court and of the state judiciaries all over this country that were affected by his wisdom and his friendship. Randy Holland is my friend. I choose to use the present tense today because he will always be my friend. I knew him as a catalyst, a collaborator, a constitutional scholar, a wise counselor, a cheerleader, and a droll comedian. My comments this afternoon are going to have a dual focus, one on the American Inns of Court, and then one on our friendship that grew out of that professional relationship. Randy joined the American Inns of Court, as you have heard, in 1990 when he helped found the Terry Carey American Inn of Court. 2 short years later, he became the first state Supreme Court justice to become a trustee of that organization. Now, early on in his tenure as a trustee, the trustees decided to test Randy's mettle by giving him a difficult assignment. At that time, the moving force behind the American Inns of Court was Chief Justice Warren Burger, and Chief Justice Burger decided that it would be a good idea to adopt a rule that no lawyer who advertised could become a member of an Inn of Court. The trustees were not excited about that proposal, and so they picked their most junior member, Randy, to deliver the message to Chief Justice Burger that they were not about to adopt this new rule. So Randy went to see the Chief Justice, and like David in the lion's den, he was victorious. The Chief Justice decided that the matter could be addressed in another way, and at the end of his career, Chief Justice Burger said that his greatest legacy to the profession was the American Inns of Court, thanks to Randy. Well, Randy, perhaps because of his bravery under fire, became the 5th president of the American Inns of Court in 2000 and served for 4 years. During his tenure, he visited local inns in 40 states. He encouraged the formation of new inns, particularly inns that were affiliated with law schools. And he strengthened the Inns of Court relationship with other national and international bar associations. Randy even convinced the Council of Chief Justices to adopt a resolution urging all the Chief Justices and justices around the country to promote the American Inns of Court in their state and to become actively involved personally in the American Inns of Court. At the end of Randy's term, the American Inns of Court was the fastest growing national legal organization in the United States. Now, Randy's national commitment did not take away from his commitment to Inns of Court here in Delaware. He helped establish 5 of Delaware's 6 active American Inns of Court, and he continued to provide support and encouragement to those inns whenever he was called upon. The capstone of his efforts, I believe, was laid in 2013 when the Randy J. Holland Delaware Workers' Compensation American Inn of Court received its charter. It should come as no surprise to anyone here that Delaware leads the country in the percentage of members of the bench and bar who are also members of an American Inn of Court. Randy, the cheerleader. But Randy's work in the American Inns of Court, as you've just heard from Nicholas Phillips, also had an international dimension. During his presidency, deeper personal relationships were established with the 4 British Inns of Court, with the Honorable Society of the King's Inn in Ireland, and with the Bar Council in Combar. Well, this good old boy from Milford, as Judge Latcham used to call him, did not undertake any of these tasks for fame or honors or glory. Yet others saw his good work and praised it. He was one of only two people who have received the two cardinal awards from the American Inns of Court. And as you heard Lord Phillips say, he is also one of those rare Americans that was invited to become a member of a British Inn of Court. But this same Randy Holland, who took the American Inns of Court to new heights, and who had the ear of leaders of the bench and bar in both the United States and in England, made time for me. We first met in the fall of 1999 at the Celebration of Excellence in Washington. Randy was the organization's newly elected president. I was the new kid on the block. In short order, we became good friends, and our wives became like sisters. It was in that setting that Debbie and I came to experience Randy's warmth and whimsy. In addition to his judicial robe, I discovered that Randy once had in his closet a red plaid suit, as well as Snoopy and Easter Bunny costumes. He liked funny hats, particularly when other people were wearing them. And as a denizen of Rehoboth Beach, he was a skee-ball wizard and even had a skee-ball machine in his basement. I also learned that Randy enjoyed celebrating birthdays and holidays, particularly lesser-known holidays. April Fool's Day was one of his favorites. Another favorite holiday was Flag Day. And after deciding that Flag Day should be celebrated by shopping, Randy faithfully emailed my wife each and every Flag Day and urged her to go shopping. And for example, I'm going to read you his email from 2017. Dear Debbie, only a few hours to shop on Flag Day. You should know that today is President Trump's birthday. This should be the occasion for double shopping in the future. Best always, Randy. That was one of the longest emails Randy ever wrote. So he encouraged Alona and Debbie to become shopping juggernauts. And in a sense, I would have to say that he was a retail enabler. While I am certainly the richer for his friendship, I must say that I'm the poorer for some of the emails he sent to Debbie. Randy and Don Lemons, the former Chief Justice of Virginia, and Mike McConnell, a lawyer from Texas, and I started a book club during the time of COVID. Randy's last suggested book was Ryan Holiday's The Daily Stoic, which we read. Some of you may be familiar with that book. If you're not, I recommend it highly. On the Ides of March 15th, the day that Randy died, the selected reading in the Daily Stoic was taken from the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It contained a passage saying, quote, "The present moment lasts the same for all and is all anyone possesses." I can't help but think that this was Randy's way of reminding us that each day is a gift, and that's why we call each day the present. Alona, Ethan, Jennifer, Rory, Chloe, Jim, you are most fortunate to have shared your lives with this wonderful, caring soulmate, father, grandfather, and brother. He has now joined the blessed company of the saints. But in your thoughts and prayers and conversations, recount the stories of his humility, his kindness, his legal brilliance, his acts of courage and conviction, and the influence he had on you, on his community, and the law. He will be there when you tell those stories. We too will tell them. In a 2005 article, Randy wrote, and I'm going to quote him here, "Satisfaction is the knowledge that others depended on your judgment, your loyalty, and your abilities, and that in the end of the day, that you had in fact helped. Randy, we did and still do depend on your judgment, your loyalty, and your abilities. Your good works and good deeds have added to the sum of humanity. Well done, my friend. Well done indeed.